Doing a live stream today. Yo, what's up, everybody? Mode Moshin, you're the first one here. Hey. Rahaf, what's up? Max Vegra, what's up? Davis, what's up? Sok Pubchigum. Hey, everybody. We're going to talk about programming today. What's up, developer Duragi? Feel free to ask any questions, app development, programming, web development, things like that. Abdullah, what is up? Today's subject particularly is backend versus frontend versus mobile versus cloud. You know, what's the right career path for you? Yeah, I don't have COVID anymore. I did have it, but we're all recovered now. So we're good to go. Hey, from South Africa, welcome. Shego, good to see you here. What's the best way to learn React? Well, you need to know JavaScript first. I always caution people, don't learn React unless you know JavaScript, because you really need to be able to write good code to solve problems. So learn JavaScript and then just start building web apps with React. Projects are the best way to learn something new. Best way to learn JavaScript, just take our online course. We at DevSlopes have the 30-day code challenge. That's probably the fastest way. It's 30 days of challenges. So every day we give you a new mission. You can't go to the next day until you complete the mission for the previous day. So we train you, and then we give you a mission that you actually have to do. You actually have to write code, and it's pure code. No user interface, pure code, data structures, algorithms, solving problems. And it gets more complex every day as you go along. And there's coaching and live meetups every single week where we can help you out. So that's 30daycodechallenge.com. 30 days of intensive coding. Every single day you do a mission, and there's accountability. So that's a really fast way to learn programming. We do that in JavaScript and in Swift right now. Where do you get ideas for projects as a beginner? It can be hard. Find something that interests you. Like, let's say you're into cryptocurrency. Maybe you should make a Bitcoin wallet. Find something you're interested in, and then build something around that. And what you want to do is you want to put requirements on your project. You don't just want to code whatever you want, because then like when things get hard, you're just like, oh, I'm not going to do that. So what you want to do is on a piece of paper, write down all the features of the project, the app, website, whatever, every single feature. And no matter what, you have to build these things. And then you figure out how to do them and build it out. So make sure that you just have a list of requirements that you build no matter what. What's up, Morris Scott? Good to see you. Sarah, what's up? What's up? Good evening. Hope all are well. Steve here from Newcastle, United Kingdom. Welcome, Stephen Peacock. Do you have like a roadmap for front end? The roadmap that I recommend is a roadmap that we teach at DevSlopes Academy, which is HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React. Okay. That stack there is enough to get you a full-time job as a front-end developer. All right. Let's see what else. Zeneb, what's up? I'm 13 years old and I'm a front-end developer. Very cool. Can I work on 2 languages at the same time? I recommend not doing that. I get asked that question a lot. You need to focus on one major language or path, like technology stack, and you stick with it until you're a paid developer. Don't learn a bunch of new crazy things or even 2 things until you've mastered the stack that gets you a job. Do employers want to see lots of little projects in a portfolio or just a few huge projects? I talk about this a lot as well. Okay, one thing you need to keep in mind is your resume or your CV is what gets you an interview. Too many people get stuck on the idea of a portfolio with projects in it, or like they build a website that shows a list of their projects. The thing is, your resume is what gets you into an interview. Okay, nothing else matters. So on your resume, you have to catch somebody's attention in 5 seconds. 5 seconds. Okay, that's how long you have to catch somebody's attention on a resume. So you need to have a full resume that lists multiple projects. If your last job shows you as a cook at Red Lobster, that's really bad. That should not be on your resume. If you have a resume like that, it means you need to go Do freelance projects, 3 to 5 paid freelance projects on your resume to fill up your resume. So then the point of the resume is to get you an interview. Then when you're on the interview, it is not about quantity. What employers will often do is they will say, hey, show me your best project or your best code. And you'll go through like on a Zoom video and you'll actually go through your code, and it needs to be amazing. So one huge project that is super amazing that demonstrates the absolute best of your skills, okay? You don't need a list of projects on GitHub. You don't need like a website that shows all of your stuff on it, a portfolio, no. Your resume is what gets you in the door, your resume or your CV. And then sometimes employers will actually look at one of your projects. They're not gonna go through all of your projects, okay? I'm 33 and wanting to start a new career in programming. How do I start? You just start today. Get a free programming course on YouTube to get started, to know if you like it. If you do like it, maybe take a course on Udemy. If you finish that course, it means you're self-motivated. Then you could come join a program like DevSlopes Academy or any other boot camp you want. What we do is we've got about 16 modules per program. It takes between 6 and 8 months, and we actually train you and coach you until you're a paid developer. We will actually help you get a job. And unlike a normal boot camp, they actually kick you out at the end of the weeks. We do not kick you out. We keep working with you until you have a paid job. So imagine having programmers who are in the industry working with you and coaching you and mentoring you until you get that job. That's what we do at DevSlopes Academy. So that's the path I would recommend for you if you want to move really fast. You don't have time to waste. You're 33, it's time to sprint. Okay, I'm gonna look at some of these things here. All right. Hey, what's up? Can you host a website on just the domain, like the website domain only? I get confused because I hear you need a host and a domain. So basically I have to consider backend maybe. Okay, so if you're talking about launching a website, all right, just a front end website, it's gonna need a domain that you point to. So what happens is servers, like, so Google or Amazon, they actually have a machine, a computer, okay? In some type of giant crate with a bunch of other little computers. And every single one of those computers has an IP address, okay? A very specific address for that computer, it goes to it. Now, you could launch a website on an IP address, but that's not very human readable. So what you do is you get a domain, you know, like devslopes.com, whatever, and then you register that, and then what you can do with the hosting provider, whoever's hosting your server, that little computer, you can actually assign the domain to that IP address, and that's how that works. And so then on that server that's hosted by Google somewhere in a warehouse or Amazon, you put your website code or whatever other code you want on it, and then when people go to the URL, the domain, the server runs your code and shows it to them. So that's kind of how it works. So what you need to do is go to a company like DigitalOcean or Netlify or Vercel. Those are a few, or of course AWS, which is really complicated. But DigitalOcean is very simple. You can actually launch a server like an Ubuntu server. You can put your website code on there and then make it live. But Vercel and Netlify are going to be the easiest way to do all that stuff. What do you think about Android dev? What advice can I give? Android development's huge. If you want a job, go native Kotlin. It's the future of Android. And get really good with it, and jobs pay great. Android developers in the United States make like $120,000 a year. It's pretty cool stuff. Would you recommend knowing Adobe XD as an advantage for a front-end job? If you're working for a startup, yeah. It just depends on all the companies you want to work for. If you go work for a huge company, they don't actually like it when you do multiple things. They just want you to do one thing and you're like one little, drop in the bucket among other people. But if you work for a small company, oh yeah, those skills could really pay off. I worked for a couple startups where my design skills with Photoshop and Sketch did so much because we didn't have a designer on board. And so let's say we needed to make adjustments to an app icon or something like that. I could go in and do that, and it made me super valuable because they didn't have to hire another employee. So it depends on the company that you work for. Rashwan, what kind of projects do I need to make as a front-end developer to get a job? I mean, what scale? Well, you should have what I would recommend, I talked about this earlier, is you have a single project that's super advanced that demonstrates all of your skills. It should talk to APIs. It should have authentication. It should do some complex things like image caching. You should do, all the professional things, maybe add some unit tests on there, but one project that's super advanced. What is your religion? I am a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It's a Christian church. Okay. How different is web development from Salesforce? So Salesforce is obviously a platform. They've got all their own APIs and tools and systems. You could be a developer who masters all of those tools and systems and get some good jobs there. So there is some technology involved and programming. And of course, web development is just, like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, things like that. Is DevSlopes hiring? We hire from time to time, but we tend to hire our students for like building things out. For teachers, we only hire people who are actually working in the industry because we want our teachers to be able to give real advice of what's happening in the technology industry. But yeah, what's your YouTube channel? Just DevSlopes, DevSlopes YouTube. You said you are 33 is better speed up. I'd like to know if age is something we should think about if we want to start a development career. I mean, do companies care about it? Companies don't care about it too much, but here's the thing. If you're like getting into programming and you're 50 and you've never really worked with computers before, and you get on the job and, let's just be real. Let's say, getting on 50, you're not as energetic as you were when you were 30. And so like maybe the company has lots of meetings and it's like a lot of work for you. You get tired easily. I'm just saying like, those things do add up over time. Skills are most important, but if you're just getting into all this stuff and you type real slow and versus someone who's been like a 25-year-old who their entire life they've been typing and moving, you start ranking lower than the people that are coming in fresher and leaner and meaner. So long as you're ambitious and hungry to go for it, that's fine. And again, it depends on the company you work for. But let's talk about startups. I've worked at lots of startups in the past, and they didn't go out and hire, people who were older. Startups, you got to be fast, right? You got to be, you change a lot, you learn a lot of new things. It's, older people tend to not be able to handle that stuff really well, versus like, let's say a job with a single programming language. So, you might want to, the older you get, you might want to consider like enterprise where you just have a single job and you do a single thing, because at a startup, it's changing all the time, learning new things, and that's high demand, high stress. And so age does matter, but it also doesn't matter if you have the skills, and it depends on the job that you're looking for. So the quicker you learn, the better off you'll be, and the company depends a lot. So hello from Brazil. Hey there. Why JavaScript tutorials talk about really advanced and complex things while most websites use JS to make simple things? Rashwan, it really depends on what you're building. Like if you go to like Upwork.com, a lot of people just want websites, landing pages, right? You don't have to do a lot of complex coding, simple HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. But I'll tell you what, you go to create like a Airbnb website, and you can be sure you got to know your code, man. For real though, if you're Airbnb, perfect example, right? We've got filtering, we've got search criteria, it has to be performance optimized. We got image caching. You got to check out, you got to do reservations. And because it's all web-based on the website, that's some really advanced JavaScript. I wouldn't hire somebody who only knew user interface. I need somebody who can code, who knows code really well to build all those things out. So, it's super important to know how to code at high and advanced levels. Super, super important. The better you get with code, the easier it will be to get a job. Look, the more you focus on the HTML and CSS, I'm going to say this again. The more you focus on HTML, CSS, and not JavaScript, the harder it will be to find a job. The more you focus on JavaScript or programming, the easier it will be to find a job. Companies don't want someone who just knows HTML and CSS. It's dying out. We need programmers who can build meaningful things, applications that can think. You know why? HTML and CSS is easy. I could do it in my sleep. Anybody can once you get the core things down. It's nothing. I don't want to offend people, but HTML, CSS is nothing. It's memorization. Companies don't care about that. They expect you to know that already. So when you go onto the jobs, yeah, they'll probably ask you some HTML, CSS, and React questions, but they really care about the JavaScript. You've got to know how to code really well, okay? If you're somebody who just likes doing the design side, HTML, CSS, and simple JavaScript, you might fare better as a freelancer, like building landing pages and things like that. Yes, you can get hired doing front-end UI development only. It's going to be at a bigger company. Just know that. And just know that you're not going to get paid as much as the developers who are building complex applications, okay? Hey, Mark. What's up, bored little ghost? How many languages for the front end? You just need to know HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and React. Know those things really well, and you can get a front-end job, all right? I need to learn JavaScript in 7 days. Any suggestions? Spend the next 7 days taking JavaScript courses. Don't get any sleep. I have a big project that I made on Amazon. It's a food ordering system. I'm happy with this. I think I can't manage it alone or by myself. Do you recommend selling it to go on? If you can. I don't know anybody who buys software projects like that. I don't know. Hello from Iran. I love your videos. Hey, thank you. What are the fees for your courses on your website? So we don't have courses anymore. We just have the DevSlips Academy. It's an immersive training program. We train people in web development, in Android development, iOS development, and we work with you until you have a job or until you're making money as a freelancer. The pricing, you get on the phone with us. We can talk about all the pricing options. We have international pricing as well. I notice it says abroad in India. So we have international pricing as well, payment plans, things like that. So you just need to go to devslopes.com/apply, get on the phone with us, and we'll go over everything and show you how we can help you become a paid developer. Java or Python, depends on what you're trying to do. I'm working React right now. What can I learn more about under React? Just build big projects with authentication, like an e-commerce app, where you can purchase things, Stripe integration, You need to build meaningful projects, and then you'll get advanced with it, okay? Are there comparable entry-level positions in mobile development as there are in web development? Yeah, you actually get paid more as a mobile developer. But you know what I actually recommend? 21 Rodriguez, here's what I recommend for mobile, is I tell people, go take on 3 to 5 freelancing projects and put that on your resume. And then don't apply for jobs as a junior, okay? Just apply for jobs as a mid-level developer. Because when you do that, you're gonna make $85,000 to $95,000 a year as an iOS or an Android developer. And all it takes to get there is 3 to 5 freelancing projects on your resume. And this is what you do. I've helped people do this, okay? I'm gonna give you the secret. You go to apply at a startup. And then when you get in to the interview, they're gonna say, I noticed that all you've really done is freelancing work. You haven't actually worked for a company. What's driving you to apply to this job? And this is what you're gonna say. I really wanted to try out the freelancer lifestyle, but I've realized that in my career, I need a team. I need to work with people. I need my skills to increase, and I wanna work on a product. Like, I don't wanna build random online apps. I wanna work on a product, and I wanna make it amazing, and I wanna work with a team, and I wanna be there long term. And I think this is a really great step for me. You say that, and they say, okay, great, get the job, all right? That is the trick. That's how you make $85,000 or $95,000 on your very first job as an iOS or Android developer, okay? I'm an iOS developer. You recommend learning Swift UI or moving into Flutter? Well, if you're a paid iOS developer, are you getting paid? If you're getting paid, sure, learn Swift UI. That's the next step. That's the future. So I love your course on Udemy. Just the intro music was too loud. Sorry about that. Those were our rock and roll coding days. They used to call us brogrammers. DevSlips was a bunch of brogrammers, whatever that means. Hey, Mark, glad you're feeling better. How long were you sick? I had COVID and I was down for like over 2 weeks. It was terrible, awful. My wife went to the hospital. My mom went to the hospital. It was really bad. It's really bad in this area here in Texas. If I already know HTML and CSS and JavaScript, how do you jump into freelance sites with no prior work experience? Freelancing's easy. It's all about closing the deal. Your job as a freelancer is to convince everybody else who you're working with or the people that want to hire you. Your job is to convince them that you can add value, that you can help them have the thing that they want the most. It's not about past experience at that point. It's about selling, okay? As a freelancer, you are half programmer, half salesperson. If you cannot sell, you cannot freelance, okay? Let me say that again. If you cannot sell, you cannot freelance. You have to be able to add value. You have to be able to say, hey, Jennifer, I understand you're looking for a website for your business. Well, I actually specialize in rapidly launching websites in 24 to 48 hours for small businesses. And what I do is I actually launch your website with 5 pages, a home page. It has a contact form where people can send you emails. It comes with a sales page, and it comes with an integrated map if that's what you want. It's also mobile friendly, and it scores 95% on the Google Speed Checker. And that's important because you are low on Google and you are running Facebook ads or Google ads. You will get hit hardcore if website's slow. You will rank poorly on those ads and your costs will go up. So I can save you thousands of dollars. And I do all of this in 48 hours. My price for this is $3,500, and I deliver within 48 hours, and you can request design changes, things like that. Anyway, you need to be able to pitch like that and close deals if you want to be a freelancer, okay? That's what it takes. By the way, I train people on this at the DevSlopes Academy every single week, devslopes.com/apply. I will coach you one-on-one and help you close freelancing projects. So, do you think C++ will be alive in the next decade? Sure, it's not going anywhere. It's everywhere. It's in your car, it's in your house, it's in your coffee maker. It's everywhere. It's not going anywhere. What's the best language for making apps? Swift for iOS or Kotlin for Android, okay? We never got to the subject today. I'm going to cover this, and then we'll probably have to check out here. Today's subject was backend versus front end versus mobile versus cloud. Like, what's a good career path for these? And first off, the answer is it doesn't matter. If you're passionate about one of those, you're going to have the most success with that. So if you hate user interface, but you love code, you should work towards backend developer. Now, it's harder to get new jobs, like beginner entry-level jobs as a backend developer if you're brand new. So you're going to want to probably do some freelance work at first, become a backend developer. And there's so many languages you could choose for that. You could be JavaScript and Node. You could also learn Python with Django or Python with Flask. Or you could take a Java stack, Java Spring Boot, or you could do .NET with C#. Like, you kind of got to pick your stack and stick with it. But you can totally do it if you get good with it, do freelance projects with it, and then you start applying for jobs once your resume is full. Back-end developers actually get paid more than front-end developers. Not by a lot, but they do get paid more. Front-end development is absolutely the easiest barrier to entry because you can do it on any computer, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. There's a million freelance projects for that kind of stuff, so you can make some cash as you're going along. You're going to want to focus on code, though. If you want to stand above everyone else, you've got to be amazing with code, get really good with that, data structures, algorithms, and you'll stand above the rest, learning React. In the United States, entry-level front-end jobs, they start around $70,000 to $75,000 a year. That's pretty cool. Mobile, I like mobile because in the United States, there's such huge demand for it. So many startups need app developers, and guess what? Those startups pay $100,000 a year. What's also cool about mobile is you just learn one thing. Like on iOS, you learn iOS and Swift. I just call it one thing, but you learn those things, get really good with it. That's it. You just master the one thing. You don't have to do anything else. Same thing with Kotlin and Android. You just learn that, master it. You don't have to learn anything else. Like, you could be at your job for 5 years and all you're doing is just learning more mobile stuff for that. You're not learning web or servers or anything. You just learn that. And, those jobs, I've placed students, their very first job, I've placed them at $120,000 a year for their very first job for mobile. Mobile in the United States pays super, super well. So huge opportunities there. There's also huge opportunities with cloud. And what cloud is, or also known as serverless, it's where you're kind of mastering third-party technology. So it's not about the languages so much anymore. It is a little bit, but it's also about like the tools, like on Amazon, mastering their Dynamo database, mastering, their Elastic Cloud and all those other things. You master their tools, get really good with it, certifications, and then you work full-time in that particular service. They have the same thing for Microsoft Azure. You can learn those services or become a Google Cloud certified, and you could become a full-time cloud engineer, and they pay well, like $100,000 to $120,000 a year, like mid-level. Those can go up if you become like a cloud architect. Like there's huge opportunities there as well too. You've got to be really good with software engineering though. Got to know how to code really well, data structures, algorithms, things like that. So there's some just quick tips for that. I know we didn't cover a lot about that, but hey, if anyone here is interested in becoming an iPhone developer, an Android developer, or a front-end web developer, join the DevSlopes Academy, devslopes.com/apply. You work with me and my team one-on-one. We will coach you and train you until you're a paid developer. Most boot camps, at the end of the period, you get kicked out and you don't have a job typically. You have to keep working towards it. With us, we don't kick you out. When you complete the program, we keep working with you until you have success. You get entered into our career program afterwards, where we actually review your resume, help you build it, help you build your LinkedIn, help you apply for jobs, help you work with recruiters, help you do freelancing, help you get freelance projects, closing those deals. We help you to have success. So devslopes.com/apply. I'm going to wrap this up. I do these every day, Monday through Friday, 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And you can always ask me any questions, mark@devslopes.com. So thank you, everybody. I'm going to wrap this up here. Great chatting with you today, and we will